So one of the most impactful moments for me of the last year and a bit was the first time I ever completed a hierarchy of values. And it was revealing for a couple of reasons. The first one was that looking back at myself, and I was, pretty fresh into recovery when I did that, and looking at what I put at the top and what didn't make the list. So I was putting my child and my family at the very top, and putting my my home and my career up at the top, or within the top, say, third. My mental health didn't make the list. My physical health didn't make the list. My sobriety and recovery didn't make the list. And that's not to say that it wasn't important to me, but I wasn't realizing the impact of I think that there's a conception. I had the conception that if I did anything other than putting my son and my loved ones right up at the top, that I was being selfish. And I was failing at that moment to recognize that by putting myself at the top, there's the trickle down effect on those relationships is paramount, is huge. And that we have to put that, for me at least, putting my mental health first, and then realizing, are all these other things going to be affected by that? Well, yeah, they sure are. And yeah.
I think just for the listeners out there, and maybe they're not familiar with what we're speaking about here, if you sit down and just kind of do a brainstorming session and just make a big list of everything that you care about in your life, and things that are important to you, compile a big list, and then pick 5 or 10 of those items that are what you believe to be the most important to you, matter most to you. And then after you do that, try to put them in order. So whatever's the most important at the top, and then working your way down. And this is what we mean by a hierarchy of values. And what you're saying there, Corey, is pretty common, where you see people, the first time they do this exercise, they'll often put their family, spouse, or kids at the top. They'll completely negate a lot of important kind of self-maintenance items like mental health, or neglect, not negate, sorry. And another fascinating thing that happens is if you do this with a person who's actively addicted to their drug of choice, they will go through the motions of compiling the entire list without putting their drug of choice on anywhere on the list. If you ask somebody to be honest and serious about it, most often that drug of choice is going to be number 1 or 2.
Absolutely. When I think about what was guiding the vast majority of my actions, it was the drug of choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have answered, my son, my job, my home, my family first at that time too. But when I think, well, how am I putting my child and my family and my home first when the first thing I'm thinking about is the drug?
Mm-hmm. You can't really do that when
you can't.
If you're using an opiate like that, it's really got you in a bind. I mean, it might be different with other substances that aren't so disastrous to quit, but with that one, I mean, you're locked in. It has to be the most important thing, or you're of no use to anybody.
Yeah.
Hey there. Thank you for watching. I hope you found something useful. Recovery Machine is the name of our podcast. If you want to take a listen to that, or you can catch us on YouTube. Tell us what you think in the comments. Leave us a like and consider subscribing. If you subscribe, that would really make us feel awesome. We would muchly appreciate that. And other than that, I'll leave the links in the description so you can easily find us. And that's it. I'll see you next time.